Alrighty, everyone, we're going to be talking about biomes today. Most of the biomes that we're going to be talking about is going to be straight memorization. So I'm not going to dwell too much on them. I'll point out some important key features of each, but really straightforward on this PowerPoint. We'll work a little bit with them during class to try to help you all understand them more. So let's go ahead and get started. So to define what a biome is, essentially it's a regional climate and its communities. So we talked about how there's different climate areas. We call those biomes. So geography can also shape the different biomes of the world. And we call these regional climates. So a regional climate example would be kind of like how one side of a mountain may be cool and wet, while the other side of the mountain is hot and dry. We are also in a unique climate region known as the Ohio Valley region. And you can always think of it being an interesting climate region because you always see these huge storms rolling through. Like this week was supposed to be terrible storms. But 9 times out of 10, when they get into the valley right across the Ohio River, a lot of that weather goes away. We still get hit with some pretty nasty weather every now and then. But because of where we're located, most of the time, we don't get hit as bad as we probably should. So this is just a picture of a mountain, and you can kind of see how we can get some of those dry effects on one side and cool wetness on another. So this one's right next to an ocean. You have these winds that are rising up the mountain, and we get nice cool weather. You get an ocean breeze. But then when they fall back down, the air becomes a lot drier, and there's not as much rainfall because of it. You don't get those same nice cool winds from the ocean, but rather they're going to heat up and they're going to cause a lot of dryness on the other side. So then we have the desert. And in the desert, there is less than 25 centimeters of precipitation a year. If you don't know what that means, it means it doesn't rain a lot. So we're going to see hot temperatures, and most animals are actually going to get their water from the food they eat. We have temperate grassland where warm summers and cold winters occur. There's moderate precipitation, and predation is constant threat in this biome. We have temperate woodland, which is hot, dry summers, cold, moist winters, and animals tend to be browsers, or they eat a variety of grasses and leaves. So they're different. We definitely see a lot of herbivory going on in temperate woodlands. Then let's finish up the last four here. Temperate forest, that's where we live, has cold winters, warm summers, rich in humus, which is a material that's formed from decaying leaves. Conifers are present, or also we can call those like your trees that are green all year round, that are seed bearing and have needles. So your pine trees would be an example of a conifer. We have northwestern coniferous forest. We have mild temperatures, abundant precipitation during fall to spring, cool, dry summers, and they have a lot of conifers clearly. Then we have boreal forest, which is also called the taiga, and this is where winters are harsh and cold, very little precipitation, and the main challenge that many organisms face is going to be staying warm. And then lastly, we have the tundra, and it's characterized by permanently frozen subsoil, which is called permafrost. We have strong winds, low precipitation, long cold winters, and most animals end up migrating south to avoid the winters. So those are the biomes, and like I said, we can have regional climates as well within those biomes. Mountains change the game for sure, because conditions are going to end up changing with elevation. So we might begin in a beautiful grassland with these beautiful flowers and abundancy of life. Then as we climb higher, we're going to get into woodland and forest, and then we're eventually going to get into conifers and spruce trees, and eventually we're going to get close to the top of the mountain where things can start to resemble a tundra with strong winds, cold, uh, snow, harsh conditions where the main thought is staying warm. So mountains provide a very interesting regional climate when it comes to the biomes and what we see within them. We also see polar ice caps, which we've talked a little bit about already. And we're not going to see a lot of plants or animals living in this area. There are very, very few plants, but when we do see plants, they're mostly algae. Marine animals and insects are the major inhabitants, so that's animals that live in the sea, and also bugs. So in the North Pole, we see there's going to be polar bears. But we have talked about in class how their environment is shrinking due to the ice caps melting. So with the ice caps melting, they're getting less area to live, and they're also starting to thrive in population. So that combination right there is not good. It means there's more being born with less room to work, and that's not good for the polar bears. So I try to get through this as quick as I can because, like I said, this is a lot of memorization. You don't want to be sitting here listening to me go on about stuff you're just going to have to memorize and read over anyway. So what I want you all to do, go ahead, type in the secret word, which let's make it, since we're talking about polar bears there at the end, let's make it Coca-Cola. And other than that, have a lovely day, weekend. Hope you all enjoy the pink-white game. If you're watching before that, have a great weekend, and I will see you in class next week.